Former President Joe Biden, as I'm sure you know, has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. And like I said, you've definitely heard about this. Super high profile news. And we're gonna talk about that. But we also have to talk about some of the strange things the right are saying about that and the way they're trying to weaponize this. But we also do have to acknowledge that it is once again rising up that debate about, hey, maybe Biden shouldn't have been president in the first place or tried to run up until the last minute. And so we're gonna dive into all of that. But first, just in case, the basic facts, because this is a very serious diagnosis, like about as serious as it can be. He had apparently reported urinary symptoms. They looked into it and found a small nodule on his prostate. His cancer is characterized by a Gleason score of 9 with metastasis to the bone. While this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, according to doctors, which allows for effective management. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physicians. So, as we all know, the Gleason score is used to describe how prostate cancers look under a microscope, 9 and 10 being the highest end of that scale. The cancer is stage 4, which means it has spread. Now, they're making it seem as if perhaps it's not that serious. It definitely seems very serious. In any event, the former president put out this message on Twitter saying, "Cancer touches us all. Like so many of you, Jill and I have learned that we are strongest in the broken places. Thank you for lifting us up with love and support." And obviously there's been a lot of reactions to this. Now, immediately, one might think that because this concerns Joe Biden, anything the Trumps would have to say about this would be weird in best case scenario. Well, we'll get there at some point, maybe while we're doing this live, but at least up until we went live, Donald Trump, current president, had only true social message to say, "Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family, and we wish Joe a fast and successful recovery," which is the most sane, compassionate thing that Trump has said since he became president. Now, it is also filled with quite a bit of dishonesty. I don't think he's spoken to his wife. He has no idea what she thinks about Joe Biden's cancer, but the message is nice. I'll grant him that. Even his son posted this, breaking: Joe Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Politics aside, we wish him a speedy recovery, which is normal, responsible, and probably written by someone else, because Don Jr. went on to say, "What I want to know is, how did Dr. Jill Biden miss stage 5 metastatic cancer? Or is this yet another cover up?" Well, first of all, it's not even the right stage, you jackass. And also, and I get that I'm saying this to a fully grown man who's supposed to be some kind of business genius or whatever. She's not a medical doctor. Now, I know that you guys must know this because you went through the whole thing where you guys were whining about the fact that she's called doctor because she has a PhD and earned it through years of rigorous work. But that's not, she's not inspecting his prostate. That's not what an academic doctor does. And so, best case scenario, he doesn't know that. He's actually so stupid that he doesn't know what kind of doctor she is. Worst case scenario, he is once again choosing to make a joke out of it, that Joe Biden has cancer, might not last much longer. Oh, what about Jill, I guess? Okay. Is this a better or worse joke than when he did the Halloween costume thing about Paul Pelosi? I'm gonna say that was worse, I think, but I leave it to our audience. Maybe we'll do a poll. And anyway, there's more going on. It's a lot of nonsense, but briefly, what do you make of the diagnosis? Are you surprised? And what do you make of some of the ways they're talking about?
Yeah, I guess it's always a surprise when someone gets diagnosed with something like this, because that's why it's such a scary thing. You never know. That's why there's regular checkups. We all know the whole scenario, because it could surprise you. No one necessarily can feel it unless it really has been aggressive and someone's starting to feel sick. So that's the sad and surprising part. And no one knows the background to how often he gets checked for these types of things or how much of a surprise it was, any of that stuff. And honestly, what difference does it make to us? Honestly, which leads to the way that some of these responses are. So first, of course, Junior talked about, he agreed with that one post about breaking: Joe Biden's been diagnosed. And politics aside, we wish him a speedy recovery. He agreed with that message. It wasn't originally written by him, but he agreed with it. But then later he apparently, I guess, disagreed with it because he said politics aside. Back to politics. What I want to know is about Dr. Jill Biden and why, as the kind of doctor she is, she wasn't diagnosing her husband's medical issues. So there's just that disagreement with his agreement. So again, politics to them is doing stuff like that. That's what I point out. This isn't me putting that energy on him. Politics to him is talking about a cover up for his medical diagnoses, because that's politics. I guess that's how people, when they see athletes or something, have something specific to say about our society and how we're destroying it, or maybe the ways that people are being harmed by the way we approach things. They call that politics. It's like, well, let's not get into politics. Politics are politicians politicking to get themselves in positions to maybe influence our society, our legislation, and our world. That's politicking. So if you're doing that, that's different. But if you have something to say about our world and our society, and maybe the ways you think we could be better at it, that's just being a member of society, maybe giving a damn about something. This guy thinks that this is politics.
Yeah, look, it's news, high profile. People are gonna react in different ways. I'm gonna react my own particular way. Joe Biden is a person obviously I've been very critical of all throughout, the primary season, January, February, March of last year. I was doing all those live streams, responding to each primary as it happened and being like, hey, maybe we could have a competitive primary. Why are we just assuming it has to? And I was getting attacked constantly, including by a lot of Democrats. They're like, how dare you question him? And then obviously, once the debate happened, I was very critical of him and said that he should be replaced as a candidate, and eventually that happened, perhaps too late. And perhaps that's why, all of this and everything. And he did a lot of bad things as president and didn't do a lot of things that could have been good. And some people, I think place a lot of the blame for the situation in Gaza on him. And so if people want to lash out against Joe Biden, I think, he's a public figure. He's gonna get a lot of that. That said, the need to conspiracy theorize about it, like Brendan Dilley, I don't know who that person is. All I know is that they pay Elon Musk to be on social media. Says, my theory, Joe Biden has some other form of cognitive illness that is most likely going to take him from this world. Like, you think his brain is like, he's got cancer. He's probably gonna die soon. Is that not enough? Whatever. However, that diagnosis and knowledge of it would support the case for throwing out all of his illegal pardons via auto pen. Dear God, look. If you're a person who's like, you know what? He stood by while lots of people died in Gaza, and so I don't care if he has cancer. On a certain level, I understand that. But like, no, he has to be dying from something else because then Penn, and if Penn, I can get Liz Cheney. Yes, they're making it all up, so I can't get Liz Cheney, but I'm gonna get it. What are you talking about? Dear God, what are you talking about? Brianna Morello, who again, I don't know anything about her. All I know is that she pays Elon Musk $8 a month to be on social media. Says, releasing Joe Biden's diagnosis on a Sunday evening is strategic. They want all the Monday morning shows talking about it because Jake Tapper has a book to sell. It's a PR move. Wait, they're trying to help Jake Tapper sell books? That's why they released the cancer diagnosis? I don't think so. I don't think Jill Biden and I don't think they care that much about his books. I don't understand it at all. You can have a whole bunch of different opinions. Like I lost my dad to cancer many years ago. I've lost other people in my family to cancer. So I'm not the sort of person that's gonna make light of anybody getting cancer. It's terrible, it tears families apart. I wish that we could get rid of it entirely. That would make America healthy again if we could actually beat cancer, but Donald Trump, RFK Jr. don't give a damn about that. That said, this weird brain rot where you have to take every development in the news and just make it fit into your exact conspiracy theory. I will never understand that. I don't want to understand that, actually.